Hey y'all. So, double header tonight. So, coming back on this one. Um, no Big Mama said, but if I think about it, I think my Big Mama was the first one who said you can't trust a big button to smile before Belle Biv DeVoe. So, anyway, this was back when I think I was almost 11. My daddy, I told you, my daddy had a lot of women in his life, and my daddy had brought this one young girl to meet us. She was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. She was very fair skinned. She was tall. She had the bombest feather. Remember the feather hairstyle? Her hair was so pretty. And I just remember she always had really nice nails and nice toes. And I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to have nice nails and nice toes when I grow up. But anyway, her name, and I'm going to say her name, and I'm going to talk about my dad in this situation as well because they're both have passed on. So I'm going to talk about them because they're not here. Anyway, so my dad met this girl, Jacinth. Her name was Jacinth. Anyway, she was very, very cool, very nice. She had two sisters around my age. I was a little older than them. So she would come over and she would be with my dad, and they were dating. So at this time, my daddy was 28. And what I did not know is that Jacinth was 18. And I remember when my grandmother was told my dad, I'm on hard times. I got these kids out here walking the streets. You got to take care of these kids. I can't do it no more. I'm going to go back home to Alabama and go back and take care of myself. These are your kids. Because my daddy had me when he was 16 and my brother, he was 18. So basically, in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to go live with my dad. So that night, my grandma gives us all of our clothes and stuff. We go to my dad's house. My dad is living in a one-bedroom apartment. And at first, my dad was talking like, oh, yeah, I got to get a bigger place. We got to get a two-bedroom, whatever. So in my heart, I was just so happy. But that night, I was sleeping on the couch and my brother was on the love seat and they were in the bedroom. And so I was just super excited. So I'm laying down to go to sleep and I hear my dad and her talking. So she was just like, James, I love you, but I'm not ready to be a mom. And maybe this isn't going to work out for us because I'm only 18 and me and Valencia are close in age and it just doesn't feel right. And I'm just not ready to be a mother. And so my dad was like, well, don't worry about it. We're still going to get married and I'll take care of that tomorrow. So I was sitting there like, well, what you talking about? Will's face on in the night. So anyway, we wake up the next morning. Jason get up. To this day, I love pancakes, and they have to be made right. They have to be firm. They have to have the edges that are crispy. Like, she made the best pancakes. Still don't like her, but she makes best pancakes. So we make these pancakes. I'm full as hell. We go get in my daddy's powder blue Pinto, and we go driving. And so I'm thinking like, are we going to school? So we passed the school. So we're going on the other side, like the east side of South Central now. So we go and then we stop at the police station. And I'm sitting here like, why are we at the police station? So anyway, my dad said, well, just take him in, Jason, like we talked about. And I was just like, oh, so we're going to the police station. So I'm like, still not understanding. Why are we going to the police station? So we go to the police station. We're sitting there for a long time. And then finally, a police officer come over. He invites me, my brother, and Jason into a room. We're sitting down. And do you know, this hussy has the nerve to tell the police, my name is Jason. These are my boyfriend's children. And he left them with me to keep for a few hours. And then he never came back. So basically, he abandoned them. And I'm only 18 and I can't take care of these children. So me, I'm like, no, that's not true. We were just with you and my dad all night. We just had breakfast. My dad is outside in the car. And so they were like, oh my gosh. And then she's like holding my head to her chest. I'm like, see, she's not taking it well. She's in denial. And I'm sitting here like snatching away from her, like, no, I'm not in denial. My dad is outside in the powder blue Pinto. And they're like, she was like, no, she's just in denial. And then my brother he's just like out of it. I don't even know if he understood what was going on. But I'm like, no, my daddy's outside. And I was like, no, I'm about to leave because my dad's outside. My dad did not abandon me. She's lying. And then, of course, they're listening to her and they're not listening to the children. So my job that I do as a social worker, my whole thing is I'm listening to the child first because I know how it felt when no one was listening to me. They labeled me as mental. They told me I was in denial. I was having a traumatic experience when I was telling the truth. I could not believe this woman sat here and made up this cockamamie story about my dad abandoning us with her, and my dad was sitting outside, and she sat there with a straight face. So my whole thing was, okay. Finally, she was like, I have to leave. I can't stay. And I was just like, Jason, really? Are you really going to lie? She was like, it's okay. My mom had to put me in foster care for a while, but she got me back. And then just walked out. And I'm like, you're lying. My daddy's outside. So then, they pull in a social worker and they tell me that, oh, are you okay? Do we have to take you to the hospital? I'm like, no, my daddy is outside. Do you know that when I went into foster care, I was ordered to have therapy because of my mental issues and being in denial and saying I was lying in the police station, which was not true. Do I mind the therapy? No. I think the therapy helped me throughout my life to process some of the other trauma and a little bit of this that was going on. So I was just really bedazzled, like, I couldn't believe it because as a child, I had no voice. Nobody listened to me. I could not stand it. And so went into foster care. That was very traumatic. Taken away from everybody being in strangers' homes. They eat different food. They do different things. It's different rules. I understand the hard adjustment to foster homes. So whenever I place a child, I make sure they're good. I stay there for a while because I know that feeling of just being dropped off and pushed off. But the gotcha is, my daddy married her. You know how you look up stuff and you look up your name in the system and certain family members are connected to your name? Every time I look myself up, Jason Simpson comes up. I cannot stand it. Like, that lady was not my stepmother. She was nothing to me. But anyway, I have evolved and I am over it now. But what I will say is that when my father started doing visitations with us, do you know she came with him? You the same one who just lied. And then you want to come to my visit and you get upset when I refuse to go with my father. I refused. I don't want to be around her. I don't want to see her because at 11, 12 years old, I was going to hurt her because she lied. And then my dad, like, what? Where your backbone at? How you let her do that to your children? So I'm like a little bit hot right now, a little bit hot. But just the fact of the matter is, that's how me and my brother went into foster care. Basically, what we call it today is, what is it called? Lord, caretaker absence incapacity. Basically, abandonment by my father. And the sad part is my grandmother had already left for Alabama, and she didn't even know this was his plan. She thought we were with him. And so from that day, from when I was 11 years old, I didn't see my grandmother again until I was like 28 years old, when she came back to California. But yeah, she did that. And I was just appalled by not even having a voice, and no one took me seriously. They believed everything she said. And so now I want to order my old juvenile, my dependency records. I want to see what was written in those court reports because I'm like, it couldn't have been any truth. And actually, this video has inspired me to order my records because that lady, never my stepmother, never. And do you know I found out that she could never have kids? And that's why her and my dad ultimately broke up, which was, guess what? Karma. But no, God forgive me. I'm better than that. I just want to share my story. Proud former foster youth. Love you guys. Bye.